And another question that I was asked is, what do you think happens after we die? What I think happens after we die, our spirit leaves the body. Our body is still there, and I really never did like touching a dead body that much. I knew the spirit wasn't there, and I knew the spirit was in heaven, and that's where they were happy. I lost all of my siblings, my mother and my dad. I was there when my mother passed away. My brother George and I were there with her. And you just knew when that spirit left the body just changes. But it was okay. And I love my mother dearly. But here she had been suffering, and she went on to a better world. I wasn't with my dad when he passed away. He had a heart attack, and all of us kids came home. Dad wanted all of his children around him before he passed away. And he had been painting the house in Albion, and fell off the ladder and he had a heart attack and fell off the ladder. And they had to take him by ambulance to the hospital. And he was still alive. And the doctor that treated him was a friend of my brother George's. And all of our family made it in time to see him. And then the doctor said, why don't you take him home? And so he did. We took him home, got him all comfortable in bed, and all the children left to their homes. He said to Mom, please go get me a cracker. And she went to the kitchen to get him a cracker, and he passed away. That's the way he wanted to be, alone, after he had seen all his family. We had just walked into the house, and we got the phone call that Dad had passed away. So, of course, we went back up to Idaho. My brother Gerald, I was there when he passed away, and it was a neat experience to be there with Gerald and Glenette and Dale, Marcia. We were all there, and Glenette hadn't showered for a couple of days, and she wanted me to take her home from the hospital so she could shower. So Glenette and I left in the car and went up to Glenette's house, and Marcia and Dale stayed with Gerald. And they said that Gerald would put up his hand and say, Mom, Dad, is that you? Mom, Dad. And he could see them through the veil. So I know there's life after death. He saw them. And later on that day, he passed away, and we were back in his room when he passed away, and most of his family was there. And Dale went through a harder time at that time when he passed away. Well, not a hard time. He had dementia, and that was hard. It was hard on him, it was hard on me, and it was hard on his children and grandchildren, because he did not know their names anymore. He always knew my name. Of course, I asked him every day, what's my name, Dale? And he'd say, Della. Well, one day he said, I don't know. And he was giving me a pretty bad time, I guess. Because the next day I said, what's my name? He said, Della. So I kind of quizzed him on my name every day, where we never on the boys. But towards the end of his life, his dementia was getting worse, and he would not let anyone really care for him. Although Danny and Mindy were so great. I don't know what I'd done without them, really. They were so special. They'd come up in the middle of the night and get him in bed. Poor Mindy had to even help dress him once, because he wouldn't let me and he wouldn't let Danny. Leila and Mindy. And anyway, got sick, and I couldn't get up and watch him night and day. And so we decided that this thing would be a care center for a little bit, and maybe he'd get better care around the clock. And he was there for 17 days. And it was during COVID, which was a hard time, because at that time, people were not allowed to go to the hospital and see their loved ones, or care centers and see their loved ones. But because Dale was very insistent that I come and see him, he would bang on the window or the door. You could talk to him through a window. If that wasn't acceptable to him, he'd go over to the door and bang on it. So they finally said, we'll let you in every day, and you can be a special care person for him. So I'd go and spend every day with him. And he would let me do things over there where he would not let them do it. So that was good. And the night before he was passed away, I knew he was going to. I had prayed about this and was pretty much told, let him go. Let him go. And I had learned in the hospital that family members sometimes have to say, it's okay, you can go. You can go to heaven. So I told him that morning, Dale, it's okay, you can go. Go be with your mom and dad and brother. It's okay. And it wasn't a long time after that he passed away. And Stephen and Stacy and Dan and Mindy were all there with me. The night before, Larry and Allison had been there. And Barry had seen him, and he had seen all of his family. He hadn't seen Jason and Lee since August, and he passed away on the 13th of September. But they had seen him recently. And he loved his family very much. One day while he was in the care center, Paul and Jesse and their kids came over and sang songs to him through the window. His family loved him, and he loved his family. And I know that he's better off in the spirit world. He's with his mom and dad and brothers. And I feel he's around us all the time. In fact, one time, before he had passed away, I had to replace the garage door. And I asked for a pad so we could just put in the number to get into the garage and not have to go through the front door all the time. And I put in the number of, but Dale had always put his, for all of his codes. Computer, everything was. Well, Paul and Jesse and their family and I all went to church. We came home. We could not get into the garage. We did not have the key to get into the house. So Paul said, oh, let's just try the grandpa's number. So we put in, and the garage door opened. I really think Dale changed that number while we were at church. I think he's around us all the time. And I think that's special to know that our loved ones are around us. They're for us, helping us. Help us with our decisions if we'll pray. I know we pray to God and through Jesus Christ, but I think our loved ones hear our prayers also.